I clean a lot, but the hand towels, like I'll do them like once a week or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, I literally throw them in with my laundry and then just once a week. It's fucking.
Yeah.
Do the laundry. Hand towels wouldn't get washed.
Nothing would get washed if I didn't do the laundry.
Yeah.
I legit want to do a photo shoot in your bathroom.
Welcome to the show. I was listening like Hulk Hogan, and it never came. Welcome to the Show Me Yours podcast. I'm Ty Boissano.
I'm Jonny DeVito.
I'm Jackie Agnew.
You're goddamn right.
And who do we got in studio today, friends?
Oh, we have a very special guest, ladies and gentlemen, the man behind the MOTN. Oh, please welcome Austin Jamieson to the house.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Thanks for coming on.
We're happy to bring
That
you
was
in.
a great intro.
That was a lot of fun.
Really good.
Ty's never took the reins before.
I was literally listening for the welcome, which Jackie always does.
welcome.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of
So
fun.
much.
It was, he's really spread his wings.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta let him go.
Like
You're a blooming flower.
the training wheels are off. He's down the road. You know what I mean? He might hit the neighbor's garbage can, but it's all good because he's learning how to ride.
Yeah.
I did fall as a ridiculous in a Tonka truck when I was a child down a very steep hill, which was kind of the same thing. What did that also?
Dude,
Tonka trucks are dangerous.
Not a
dude.
Tonka truck thing. It was a red
Rider. Oh yeah.
wagon, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if you're going down too hard, I kind of got a little bit out of control. So as soon as the handle went one way, went the other way, and then turned completely like 90 degrees, and then just stopped. And I just went ass over tea kettle, and face first. Similar to a few years later when I'm
that
riding big
explains
boy
all
bikes.
of that.
Oh
then.
yeah, oh yeah. And then I'm riding like the big boy bikes a few years later. My brother had a Norco that was like way doper than like my bullshit.
yeah.
So I stole my brother's Norco, rode over to my buddy Justin's place, and then his grandma's house at the bottom of a hill. Same thing, only I don't know the difference between like the right and the left brake at this point, right? So I'm like,
no.
I'm
You're
like,
just trying to backpedal.
I'm
You're
like, yeah,
what the hell's going on?
it might be just a single speed. It's not happening on this particular bike. So I just said fuck it and locked up both of them.
Oh,
and just went for a
no.
ride. Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh, no.
Great times. Great times. Austin, when was the last time you ate shit?
Oh, I've been eating shit, bro. I've been eating shit lately.
I got the taste of shit.
Last big one that I really took a dive was this summer was the fucking crash. Right?
Yeah, totally.
Flipping up.
Shit.
Yeah, Me and my buddies out in the Yukon, we were getting up like right up to the Arctic there. Like the day beforehand, we'd like put our bodies in the Arctic Ocean, and then the day after we're driving, we just hit a bump, like kind of not a bump, but like a reverse bump, a little dip,
A
Reverse
dip in the
yeah. No, it's like
Yeah.
they
a
call
dip
them-
in the road.
They called them umps, like up there, 'cause
Umps?
it's like
Oh,
it's like the
okay.
same kind of like
Gotcha.
Sure.
exact thing, like a
Yeah.
speed bump, but
but it
just-
goes under. Oh, I see
it
what you're
goes
saying.
under, yeah.
Oh.
And so we hit one of those, and then there was a turn right when we hit one of those, and then we like rolled over into a lake
Man,
Oh my
up in the Yukon.
Christ.
Yeah,
Jesus
we were
Christ.
upside down in the water, like all strapped in. My one buddy wasn't rocking a seatbelt, so he got shot out of his window, which was open, luckily.
Oh my
Um,
god.
Yeah,
Luckily, like thrown to
Jesus
safety.
Christ.
Well, like
That's
thrown.
I mean, if
fucking
it had been
wild.
closed,
Thrown
it
out,
would've
out
Yeah.
to safety onto the water though
Yeah.
too. Like
Yeah.
imagine if there was
If
no
it had been a road
and it was
or-
just road
oh
there, that
my
would have been pretty.
God.
Yeah, so he hit
Yeah.
the water. We were all upside down. My one buddy who was
God.
driving, he gets out of his window. I'm underwater. I'm like right away, like, all right, this is like we're done, right?
Just that like split moment of panic. At what point?
Well, it was like-
At what point do you figure like it's time to fight?
Well, like pretty much right after that thought, right?
Yeah.
It's like okay, I'm still here, which this is something that I've been thinking about lately, and I've never put this thought out there, but like, so my hoodie was on, and I have this like black hoodie that I wear all the time, and my hoodie was on, and it was like it had gone over my eyes, and it was like wet, so it had kind of like suction to my eyes, right? So I thought it was like there was no more light, so I thought we were like
Going
down
down.
deep,
Oh,
you know?
Oh, yeah.
And so then like that was the case, and then I was also strapped in, but then you're floating.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about this where I was like, how I knew I wasn't dead is such a weird feeling, because if you take all of those like kind of describing factors, like you're in water, you're floating, you
Dark.
can't see anything,
Yeah.
it's dark, but you're strapped
Something-
in and
yeah.
you're not going anywhere.
Totally.
That's like a great description of death, really, of
Yeah,
like what
yeah.
we would imagine death would be like,
Sure,
right?
fuck
So
it.
like
Oh, man.
not like knowing
That's-
that distinction is like really weird. And as soon as I knew that, it was like, okay, all right. And I remembered like back when I was a kid, I was like this, like I was like a apocalypse prepping kid. Like none of my family was, nobody was
Yeah.
interested in that. But like
Oh, yeah.
I really thought that the apocalypse was like,
Oh, dude,
on the way.
I'm with you. I don't necessarily prep for it as much as
No,
I just
not-
like,
not
but I talk
anymore,
about
but-
it a lot.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
back
Yeah,
then
I'm
I
gonna
was
buy the
prep-
can of beans.
no. But back then though,
Keep going through the
I
beats.
was really
Right.
prepping for it. Like I did have the cans in my closet. Like I would spend my own money to buy like cans to put in the closet. I
Right,
had
yeah.
like a go bag. I was learning how to like make like DIY
Dude, that would
armor.
get-
How
I
many
would-
gallons of water did you have at 15 years old?
Dude,
Was
but
that-
here's the
Yeah.
interesting one was like I was like learning how to like I was learning how like what to do even back then for if you were to get in a car crash like this. So like it would have been like 10-year-old me like saved me later on, because like I learned like how to like not panic. Me and my friends would do like drills in the water where we literally would be like
Just,
like,
you know,
we'd
playing
have to-
Navy SEALs.
I know.
Hell yeah, dude.
It was
stuff.
weird.
I
I
get it.
lived
No,
a weird
I'm
as
with
fuck
you.
kid,
I'm
but
with
like
No,
you.
I get it. I
Yeah,
totally
definitely.
get it.
but it
Came
was
in
weird
handy.
though. Like
Yeah.
later on, like I
That was
remembered the
useful.
clip. Like
Yeah.
I while in the water, I remembered the clip like that I watched that like showed you like the first thing always that they say in any of those ones is like don't panic, like right
Yeah.
away. That's the
Yeah.
first thing always.
Yeah.
So then it was like right there, and then it was like no, okay, figure out your surroundings, because I couldn't see. So I'm like, okay, got my seatbelt, unclicked that. As soon as I did, I was able to kind of like poke my head out of the water, and I thought again, because I had the cover over my eyes, I was like, oh, this is like the pocket of air that they talk about when you're like in a boat or something
Right.
that
Yeah.
you've like sunken down, and
Totally.
now this is like the
Yeah.
little bit of air that you've got.
Yeah.
Okay, figure stuff out.
That's how
And
Jack
then-
Sparrow got to the Black Pearl.
Exactly, right? Yeah. And that was
Yeah.
exactly.
Thank you, Johnny.
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
like
Yeah. You're like a young
That's
Jack
a historical
Sparrow.
event,
Yeah.
guys.
It
It's
is.
historically
Yeah.
accurate.
We're all familiar.
and then after I was up with my head poking out for a little bit, then Jake, the driver, he was able to grab my hoodie and help me kind of get out of the window there. And then once we were out, I took the hoodie off, and then our one buddy was still in the water. He had gotten his head out, so he was like calling for help,
Oh my
but he
God.
couldn't get out on his own, because he was like the two of us were like the furthest ones in,
Yeah.
because we were on like the passenger side, and that was the side that had flipped deepest into the
Okay.
water.
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
So like he was still in the water, so we helped get him out. And then yeah, we were like looking around, we were like fuck, like we had no clue where our other buddy was, and he was in the water, and like he was like swimming to shore, he was good, and then he
Yeah.
got to shore. He was like, I'm fucked up right now. This is like no good. I've like my chest really hurts, my back really hurts. He's like, this is no good.
Well, that's the
You
thing. Are
just
you guys like just
projected
like
from a
going off
car.
adrenaline at that point? Because
Well,
I mean, you're
I
all
mean,
lucky that there's no like
fuck.
serious
Yeah.
injury. If you guys had like a broken arm or broken leg or
Well-
something trying to get out of there, it would've been fucked, right?
This is where it kind of goes though, right? So we get him back up to the road, and then at that point, like the adrenaline starts to wear down for him, and he's like, no, like something's really wrong.
Yeah.
So we got him lying on the road, but like me, I'm still hopped up on adrenaline, and also like those like survival instincts, like those same
Yeah.
ones that I learned
You
back
trained
when I was
for
a kid.
this.
Literally,
Yeah.
exactly.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
That's
I'm like
so
going
crazy.
through like all of like
Yeah.
exactly what you need to start doing. So like I'm already hopped back in the water, going and grabbing like what of our gear that we could still find, like any of our backpacks, or like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like trying to break the back window so that we can get into the trunk and like grab anything, because the last day going up to the Arctic, like going up to, it's like this little town up in the Northwest Territories called Tuktoyaktuk, and it's like the furthest point north that you can get in Canada by car.
Wow.
Yeah, so like we had gone up there, and the drive up there and the drive that we had already done, like since, because we didn't stay the night there, we had already driven back, like you could go a full day without seeing anybody, like
Yeah.
driving
Yeah,
by,
for
like
sure.
and this was just this
I'm
like
sure
really
it's gonna get real fucking cold at night too once that sun starts to
yeah,
go down
right.
low.
And then we're
Yeah.
wet, and our like all of our
Yeah.
shit's
Yeah.
covered. So like
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we need to make sure that we've got like cover and like
Yeah.
the start for like fire and like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
kind of stuff like right away. And our one buddy, he's clearly fucked up. I'm going and doing like first aid on him to make sure, okay, do we see any like cuts? Is there any like wounds that we got to address like that? Okay, if it's a concussion, all right, making sure that he's still, and like, I've got this, I'd had this one of those like reflective blankets that I had in my pack since I swear to God, since I was like 12 maybe. And I'd been in my backpack every time I'd gone camping, and I'd never used it. And like finally it was like great to like find that in the wreckage and be like, all right, it's like good for something,
It's your time, buddy.
Finally good for something.
Time to shine.
Yeah.
Little
Quite
foil.
literally, your time to shine.
Yeah, right? No, literally, yeah. And so, it was like, so I was just grabbing all that, and we were really lucky for like two things. Like one, I guess Canada has made it like a project to try to get like fiber optics out to like all points of the country. Yeah. So they're trying like anything that has a road. Right. They're trying to get fiber optics out there, so that everybody can have like accessible Wi-Fi and data and stuff, which I think is really awesome.
Absolutely,
because you could go so far. Like we would go hours without any cell service, like
totally,
and that's really dangerous.
Yeah,
like,
well,
even where we
imagine living out there, right? And so, and any kind, or even like in your situation, any kind of emergency situation, you're fucked.
Yeah,
right?
well, that's where we were at, because even on like they were installing it, but nothing's been booted up yet or anything. So like we have no cell coverage, we have no service at
Your
all.
cell
So
phone still work?
So gnarly too, because it'd be like like think of how bad that could get. It's like it's not like they said even freezing death. It's like
totally.
You're getting all fucking cold, and then all of a sudden you start hearing wolves and shit.
Hell
mind
yeah,
you,
man.
you're
getting hungry. You're looking at your buddy with concussion.
dude.
Like,
right?
Yeah.
Well,
how long
Started the
how
butt.
long until we talk cannibalism?
Yeah, right?
Like,
Apparently 10 minutes.
Yeah,
for
10
sure.
minutes.
Yeah.
You're like out the car. You're like, I'm fucking hungry.
Yeah.
We've got granola bars. Nah,
I'm gonna forge for
red
marinara
meat.
sauce and cook this guy down.
A lot of meat on that butt.
Dude,
No,
different
the
protein.
the day before,
Let's eat his A.
the day before on the drive back, we had seen a family of grizzly bears like on the road that we had been
Fuck
driving
yeah.
on. So this was
God.
what we knew was like
good
in
God.
store for us if we
Yeah.
hadn't figured something out. So
Oh my
this
God.
is where like the luck kind of part came in. So we're there for about an hour and some change, and we're like, okay, we're like, this might be it for tonight or whatever. We're just gonna have to figure it out, right? And then luckily a car came by, and he was one of the construction workers that was working along the highway.
Wow.
And he had an SOS because they have their own
for sure.
they have their own safety out
Yeah,
there
of
in
course.
case
Yeah.
something happens to
Like
one of their
basic
guys.
radio and
Hell
shit.
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So they had the SOS, so they called to their supervisor. Their guys came, and then after it was probably like a couple hours, really like 2 or 3 hours, then finally their medical truck came. Still the whole while our one buddy's for sure got a concussion. The guy on the ground, we don't know. He's got problems in his back, like his spine is really hurting and his chest is really hurting. So we're like, we have no clue. In my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm hoping that it's a couple like broken ribs or something, because that would maybe feel like why your back is kind of hurting too, but we have no clue, right? So they're putting him on a stretcher, they're putting him in the back, the whole thing.
Yeah, he could be fucking bleeding and turning. Like,
Yeah,
there's so
no
many
fucking
fucking
idea.
things.
But like this
That's
is like the group of guys that I'm with here at this point, is that there's like 3 other guys, like the one guy that's on the ground, the driver who is like at this point like fucked up because he he was the one driving, and he's like worried that like these are our like old school friends. These are like, if we've known each other since we were 13. You know what I mean? Like we've been rocking it for a little bit now, and so like
You guys
he's
should have
worried.
done some fucking driving drills, man. Never mind fucking survival, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Where were
right?
you when I was doing the drills?
Yeah. So, but exactly,
You
right?
ever played Mario Andretti in the front?
These guys were the guys like even that I was doing like
Oh,
that kind
yeah.
of shit with
Mario
back
Kart.
then too,
Oh,
right?
shit.
Yeah.
So they had the training too.
Not real. I mean, yeah, a bit, but
Yeah.
I was obsessive.
Yeah,
with
they
it.
didn't take it as seriously.
Clearly.
But yeah, so he's fucked up, and then our other buddy, the last guy, he has a concussion. He's bleeding from his head. So like this is the group that I'm working with. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm for sure I'm good. I know I'm sore as fuck, but like I know I'm good. I've done my own like checking on everything. I'm gonna make sure to like just take the lead here and make sure that we're gonna be good. So I'm helping the first aid guys get him back onto the truck. Like making sure that we've got all of our gear in the back of like the other guy's truck that's gonna take us into town, because the ambulance won't come out this far. The ambulance won't go on the gravel road. We're on a gravel highway,
No, for
so they
fuck's
won't
sakes.
go. They won't go on
It's
the
always
highway.
good when the ambulance goes, that's
like,
way too
ah.
dangerous.
yeah. Literally,
Kind of bitch ass
literally,
ambulance is like get to the hard stuff.
No,
Yeah,
they're-
yeah, yeah.
They literally were like, and so it was up to now like the construction crew to get us back to the regular highway.
Yeah.
How about
where
these
the
guys then,
ambulance?
right?
Oh,
Yeah. Thank
killer,
God for that.
killer,
Shout out to
Good
killer.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hell
no,
yeah.
it was seriously needed, man, and yeah, so then finally, but we're talking multiple hours. Like we're on this highway. This is like a full day trek highway kind of thing. So it's it's taken us like 2 or 3 hours to get back to the regular highway.
Yeah.
We finally get there. They do the trade off and everything. We get to the hospital. And it's this hospital in Dawson City. I don't know if you guys know Dawson City much. It's this like tiny town.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've transferred Greyhound buses there. So
Right.
there's like an Earl's or some shit next to the Greyhound thing, and I've walked across the street there. But when you walk around, it's desolate. And I mean, in my situation, I was working up there for like a long time, so you haven't really like seen people and stuff, and you're looking around and. I couldn't wait to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah,
You
it
know
was.
what I mean?
It was
I'm sure like
strange.
the people. Shout out to the bartender there. That was awesome, right? Because I was just like,
Which
I
bar?
kind of got liquored up. I think it was just like an Earl's.
Was it the Toe one?
Or like a
They
chain
don't have an
restaurant.
Earl's there.
It was some. I remembered it as some kind of chain restaurant. Like,
Okay.
like a Milestones or whatever the fuck
A
it was,
Boston
or
pizza,
something.
perhaps.
I don't think
Could have been a
I-
BP.
When we were
Very
there,
well
none
could
of
have been a
those
BP.
kind of things were
No
there
shit,
at all.
right?
And maybe it's a different spot. This spot,
Yeah.
like, it was really interesting because it's this small town up in the Yukon, and they've got the original buildings from when it was built. So like it's like a old school like mining town.
Sorry, I was in Dawson Creek in
that would
northern
be
BC.
Yes, yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
sorry.
Different spot. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dawson Creek
Still
apparently
cold and
is
a bummer,
is a
though.
shithole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So this spot is
still a shithole.
Shout out to all our northern listeners.
to be fair, like Dawson.
Johnny, I was in White Rock. I don't know.
Oh, still a shithole.
Hey, I'm from White Rock. I'm from White Rock.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's right. You're in White Rock.
I'm from White Rock.
Okay, let me ask you this because I have another friend from like Lander. We've been doing like this Springfield Shelbyville comparison. Yeah, and I've realized that Dawson is actually Shelbyville, and I'm very upset about it.
But yeah, we get to Dawson City and we go to the hospital there, and there's like 3 people working at this hospital, like a full
Wow.
like fucking large hospital,
Yeah.
and there's 3 people working there, 1 doctor and 2 nurses, and
Now you've outnumbered the staff.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, literally, and they're like. They put us in another room and they're looking at Will and they've just got him on a room, and they come in and they kind of give us the lowdown. They're like, hey, we don't really know what's going on because we don't have the equipment here.
Yeah, I
or
was
the
gonna say,
know-how."
like, what do they have there?
Yeah, well,
Like,
I mean, they had X-ray there, but none of because it's like they work on like
Dale
a,
runs
They
it and
didn't know
Dale
how
doesn't
it
work
worked.
until Monday.
No. I'm telling you, that's literally what they fucking said. It was their like. That was the second kind of part of luck with the whole situation, was that we had just so happened to get there the one day in Dawson City that's like their like fair day, that is like the big day. The only reason why people like ever go to Dawson City for travel is for the summer solstice festival. And we were there that exact day, but because we were there,
You were New Year's Eve downtown.
literally, yeah, exactly. But that was
The
kind of lucky
Yeah.
though, because you're talking about like a 300 person, like less than that
Yeah,
kind of town,
town,
right?
Yeah.
And so this hospital, but that was literally it. Was that our guy that knows how to do it isn't working because it's a holiday tomorrow, so we'd have to keep him here for like 3 days until our guy gets back. We
my
have
God.
to fly him to Whitehorse,
Holy
and
shit.
we were
God.
like, okay, what's that gonna do? Like, what are
Yeah.
you talking about here? And they're like,
Yeah.
well, because you guys are from BC, it's not covered for you.
Oh, fuck.
Do you have travel insurance? We're like, why would we have travel insurance when we're going into fucking Canada?
Yeah.
Nuts. And she's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
well, you need travel insurance to go
For
to other
the-
provinces
Yeah.
because it
Oh,
doesn't
dude,
cover
I had
for you.
no
I didn't
idea
know
about
Why
that.
that.
would
Yeah.
you know that?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
not taught
that's-
at all. You would
no.
never know that.
That's fucking.
And now you're on the hook for a
wild.
fucking airlift?
Now you're on the hook for them chartering a plane to be able to
Oh, good
go and send
God.
him. So
Oh, I
she
guess they
says-
don't have like a fucking helicopter there.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, a helicopter would have been just as much. So
Yeah, of
right,
course,
it's
yeah.
and so we're like, how much is it gonna be? And she says it's $35,000.
Oh, my God.
Jesus.
Woo!
This is Canada, man.
You're like, can
Yeah.
I write you
Yeah.
a check?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Don't cash it till the end of the week.
Well, fuck it. We'll walk. We get to the end of the road and left.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
that-
here's the thing,
I'll
right?
put 20 down now.
Yeah.
20 bucks.
Exactly.
You're talking.
Bullets are cheaper.
You're talking like days ride, like at least a full day, if not 2 days ride back to Whitehorse. When we don't have a car anymore, it's in a lake. And there's no way to rent a car out here because they don't have car rentals because it's a place with 300 people and they
Yeah,
have
right.
snow most of the year and don't see sunlight for more than half the year. And and so we're literally we're sitting there. And we're like talking to these doctors now. We're all still all fucked up too. And that was the kind of the issue. And looking back on it, like I'm arguing with this doctor. Like I'm like, because I'm really wondering, like, at least from my perspective, I'm like, well, these symptoms that he's saying, they sound like broken ribs, and that's no good. And you can walk on broken ribs, and you can kind of walk, but it's really painful. And it's hard to breathe. It's really fucked up.
yeah, dude.
But like broken ribs, ultimately though, are not that big of a deal.
They're not going to open them up. Like they just have to heal.
Yes, exactly. And broken ribs, and also like in my mind, I'm like broken ribs too. Like if we're already gonna have to get like a hotel out here or something like that. If he's just gonna wait in bed here, or if he's gonna wait in bed in Whitehorse, it's all gonna be the same. Just waiting till he's good enough to walk around and stuff, so we can fly out. But she's like, well, he's having issues with his back and his spine, and that's the issue that we don't know. And if he has an issue with his spine, then obviously you can tell what could happen if we don't treat it right, or if we get him
Or if
walking
you
on
fucking
it,
move him.
or if we move
Yeah,
him, or
yeah,
anything. And so we kind of on a call with Will's dad, and his dad is this like Bulgarian immigrant guy,
Oh, no.
like
Oh,
old,
no.
like old school.
I was
Let
like
me
hoping
talk
I
to
was
the
like
doctor.
lawyer.
Yes.
I was like anything.
Yeah. He's on the phone, Willie. And Will's sitting with the fucking neck brace in the bed. We've got the phone up to him.
Yeah.
He's got his arm, and he's like, "Hi, Dad." He's on the he's on the drip too, right?
Yeah.
He's just so high. He's like, "Hi, Dad." So we were in an accident. Willie, you okay?
Yeah.
And he goes, "Yeah, I'm in the hospital now, and they're saying we have to." And he tells them what's going on, and he goes, "How much for the plane?" And he tells them $35,000, and right away, without skipping a beat, no way, no way,
That's
no
not
way,
gonna happen.
no way.
Nope.
Really, we don't have that money. Really, we don't have that money. No way. Can you walk? He's like, I walked up to the road, but I don't know. They're saying I shouldn't walk. Well, if you can walk, you're fine. If you can walk, you're fine. If you can move your toes, can you move your toes? He's like, yeah, I can move my toes. He's like, you're fine. It's no issue. You wait there. You wait there until you're better, and then you come. And then literally, it might as well have been just fucking hang up. Done. I'm done talking about it, right?
Oh my god.
See you later.
Yeah.
So
I'll see you in a couple weeks with a limp.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, me and my buddies, we're trying to figure out really, like, okay, so if his dad's saying that, he can't cover it, obviously, Will doesn't have $35,000. He's got some saved up, but not $35,000. Who just has that?
Who the fuck
But
has
also,
$35,000?
exactly,
Yeah.
right? But also, we know that, like, these things, they don't come in, like, a, pay up now, like, we need the money right away. It's like,
Right.
they'll
It's a
come in, like,
payment
installments
plan.
or
Yeah.
whatever,
Sure,
right? And so he might have to pay it off for a little while or whatever. And so I don't know if it was out of guilt or responsibility or just trying to make the situation kind of get better. But Jake, our tattoo artist at the Mountain, who was the driver at the time too, he offers to cover the bill for Will because he's like, I was the one driving, whatever. So he and so finally now we're able to go, and we're literally all sitting around, and the doctors in here saying, like, you guys need to make a decision right now because we have the guys on the line, and if we say we can't do this today, they're not going to come back for the rest of the day, so we're going to have to wait till tomorrow. And then tomorrow's the holiday, and everybody's off tomorrow. So it's not going to happen. So you got to let us know, like, we're literally making a $35,000 decision, all concussed, all fucked up right at. We're talking hours after this crash. We're still got the shit on our face, right? And this lake was like the Yukon lakes. They don't have a lot of filtration. It's just
But
a
in
sitting
the sense
puddle
of
for
like
years.
medical professional ethics, that's kind of fucked up, right?
To put on a bunch of, I mean, but we're all adults, right?
Yeah.
But we're talking 21-year-olds.
Yeah, you
right?
guys kind of
I don't know about that, dude.
Yeah, bro.
We're talking
I'm thinking about
stuff.
my ass at 21. I'm
I
like,
mean-
that is not an adult.
Well,
Let me tell you.
and
I'm barely
I'm
one now.
telling her, I'm saying, like, I know what you're saying is important, but you're talking about a full ride of university.
Yeah,
that's what you're really saying.
Yeah.
For like for somebody to go to like a basic university.
Yeah, and
wanna,
you're not.
You're
We're
talking
not
about
talking like
a full education.
No, yeah, dude.
So what are we really?
Yeah.
And that's what I just
Literally
kept
like
asking her.
doubling the student loan debt that I have.
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
Like,
That's
it'd
what we
be
kept
crazy.
saying. We were just
Yeah.
like. Well, at least what I was saying, because I was really being argumentative, and she was like, "Are you a doctor?" At one, she literally said that. She's like, "Are you a doctor?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Okay, fair enough." But also, like, can you just give us? You've been saying like all the reasons why we should go, but you're not really telling us the reasons like what would happen if he doesn't. Like, just make it scary. I literally said that. I'm like, if you really think that this is like something important, make it scary.
That's
Scary.
fucking
Scare
awesome.
me.
dude.
Yeah.
Why should we spend that much? Because if we have to make this decision right now, we need to be scared out of our fucking mind.
Yeah.
This
And
is
then
one
she
of the
was-
biggest
and the
life
fact-
decisions we've made
Yeah,
up to
and
this
the
point.
fact that
Right.
it's taking you so long to decide should show her that's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
obviously, like
Yeah.
it's your friend who clearly needs medical attention, and you're still fucking thinking about it. Like
Yeah.
obviously, she's not doing her job.
No.
Like yeah.
I mean, she was doing the best that she could, and as well, like I said, I do take a lot of blame. Like I'm arguing with a fucking doctor,
course, yeah,
and
but
she's like, "What do you
still,
know?" And I'm like, "You're right." You know, I literally said that one point. I'm like, "I don't know why I was fighting with you. I think it's just a lot of money." She's like, "I understand it," and then we actually like had
That's
a
good.
really good discussion with it
Yeah,
after he
yeah.
had left, and
Yeah.
she was finally able to like take a look at all of us, like it calmed down. But
Yeah, you just got a serious fucking accident.
so
Yeah,
so
right.
so we're out in Dawson City, and it's like probably 9 o'clock at this point, 9 o'clock at night, and so like you're not gonna get a hotel at this hour. Like there's a
Not
couple
during this.
hotels
Not,
in this.
not this time of year.
Well, that's
Yeah,
another
no
thing,
doubt.
right? It's you're
You're
literally
The
right
one
at
weekend.
The
Yeah.
one
The
weekend.
only
that
weekend.
Not
people
for the
come
summer
into town.
solstice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You fucking crazy?
So we're like shit out of luck, right? Like
Yeah.
we're like, oh fuck, there's no Airbnbs. Like there's just there's not.
That's why
there's
they're
not,
putting the pressure on you, by
there's
the way, to
not
make
no
the decision. They're like,
Airbnbs,
listen,
like
you little shit.
available.
Yeah.
It's like there's no Airbnbs.
solstice
period.
tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
The summer solstice. Yeah, everybody.
You fucking 35 grand or get the fuck out of here. Because
Well, that's
tomorrow
what
I'm getting lit up.
Yeah. Do you know what day it is tomorrow? This is,
How
this is
dare
you
the
dump
day
your
we
car in
look
the
forward to
Yeah.
all fucking year.
I have a costume.
I love that. Like, if
And
you
you
ever
can't tell me yes or no on the fucking plane.
Yeah.
I should have been off the clock an hour ago.
Have you guys ever worked at a restaurant and you're about to close and that fucking table of 10
Yeah.
walks in like right at the fucking end? You guys are like that in an ambulance, like equivalent or whatever.
Only she can't tell you, like, oh, sorry, the system's down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or we've already cashed out.
Yeah.
The guy in the ambulance, he's like putting away he's stocking the gauze, right? He's stocking the Band-Aid. Everything's clean. He's like, this is going to be good, man. Summer solstice is going to rule.
So we come in ordering a fucking steak well
Yeah.
done right at the end of the
Yeah.
shift.
Totally.
10:59, we're ordering well done.
You're like, oh,
100%.
can't wait for the summer solstice tomorrow.
Oh, for
Yeah.
fuck's sakes.
He's
Oh,
putting
fuck,
all the
that's-
labels, like, the
Yeah.
way the faces.
Yeah, like they've never.
So when
it's
he
never
comes in
been so
hungover,
clean.
everything
Yeah.
is just
So
good to
everything's
go.
set to go.
Oh my god.
Nobody gets fucked up on the summer solstice, man. This is
We've
gonna be
shit on
awesome.
these ambulance drivers a couple
And
times
that's
now.
why
Rightfully
you never
so.
clean up like an hour before the end of your shift, right? Like
Yeah.
you can fucking
That's the moral of
it's
this
the-
story.
yeah, man. Because honestly, there's time allotted on your shift to clean up after the fucking restaurant is closed.
Yep.
And if you start jumping the gun and shit, then you start getting real mad, and then you're gonna make that guy a bad burger.
And you're
'Cause-
making less
and-
hourly,
Yeah,
too.
Totally, right? But I've
Yeah,
also been
yeah.
in a situation like in my dirtbag travels that I've been the guy, like the last guy at the place ordering.
course.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but what do you
Burger.
do, though? What do you ask? You go to the fryer. Are the
fucking-
fryers still on?
I'm
Is the
very
first question
nice.
you ask.
Oh, that's
Are
a
the
good
fryers
question.
still on?
Totally.
Because then it's like, oh, I ate some fries. Then you know what you're working with.
Absolutely.
Right, yeah.
absolutely.
Otherwise, you're gonna have to have them boot them up, and then the fries are gonna come out all
Oh,
fucky
yeah.
too.
And like, you know what? I don't want to
Yeah.
fuck with these people. They're about
Yeah.
to make me food.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just like, you know what I mean? I'm like,
Very
let's make this
cordial.
as easy. You just tell me straight up no, and I will go
Yeah.
to 7-Eleven and crush a hot dog.
Totally.
Just let me know.
Yeah, exactly right. But I was one of those fucking shitty chain restaurants or whatever, where the manager is like, yeah, 10 more people, right? Like,
Boston
they were
Pizza.
Pasta.
Kelly O'Brien's. Shout out.
Yeah.
Hey.
So we're out, it's 9 o'clock. We've got all of our shit with us too, because we had a guy drive us down. He was this really nice guy, but he had to go back to work. He was working on the line, right? So he had to go back to work. So we left all of the stuff with us. So we've got, our full camping gear of everything that we were able to get out of there. It's all soaking wet all the way through. It's got this lake, the way I described it is this is the lake. Like the water that's in this lake is the same water that like
Northern pikes swim in.
Yeah, like
slimy ass,
Yeah.
like
It's
a dinosaurs.
It's like dinosaur water, bro. It's got that like
Dinosaur
residue
water.
chill,
Yeah.
like
For
still on
sure.
it. Like a mammoth at the bottom of that
100%.
motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
It's like so it's all over us, and it's all, and the smell is just so thick. So I start right away. I'm in my survival mode. Like this is the same thing I've like thought about for like zombies. That was always the big thing back when I was a kid,
for
right?
sure.
It's like zombies. Like what's
Definitely.
gonna happen with zombies? So I'm thinking like, okay, we gotta like shed our shit like the lightest and make sure that everything that we're bringing is also gonna be applicable because in a couple of days we're gonna be flying out of here. So like.
Okay.
Our one buddy, he had like a air rifle. I was like, get rid of that shit right away because we're not gonna take that on a plane.
Yeah.
And then what is that gonna serve us
When we're
carrying
shooting
from
cans in the parking lot.
Yeah,
Get the fuck outta
exactly,
here.
right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's not gonna serve us. So like there's a guy walking by and we're like, I'll sell this to you for $25 right now. You know, it's like $150 air
Yeah.
rifle,
Oh, yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
And we're
yeah.
like,
Whatever.
we'll give it to you for whatever, and he gives us, and it's fine, you know.
Yeah,
And we're going around
like
and we're trying.
34,970.
Into the airplane fund.
That's
yeah.
what we were saying.
You
though.
got any more air rifles?
All right, well, there's our first little bit of fundraising for it.
Oh my god.
And so
Chipping away.
we're trying to find a spot, and randomly in this fucking again 300 plus like kind of small town, they had a men's shelter there. Totally random. They had a men's shelter there. Like there are like a couple specifically men's shelters
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Vancouver.
Yeah.
Like specifically men's shelter. There's literally like I could name on one hand
Yeah.
Yeah.
the ones that I know.
They're sheltering men.
And
Hallelujah.
there's only one like men's abuse shelter and whatever, but there's only one men's abuse. This is like
Yeah.
a town of 300 people, and there's a specifically and there's a
Why do you have
women's
so
one
much
across the
information
street.
on shelters?
Look at him.
We gotta invite you back because like I love that we're like burning through this episode right now with like a huge story or whatever. But I'm like, I want to hear more about this.
No,
I'm sorry. I know, I'm sorry. I know we gotta get to the
captivated.
content. No, this is what it's all about.
I'm captivated.
But
yeah.
but we find this shelter, and it is like I've been traveling all around the world. I've been to dozens of hotels everywhere. I've been to over 30 countries. I've traveled a lot. Like the feeling of going into this shelter. There's no one else in there. But like being greeted by the woman that was running it, and just the feeling of like relief that brought, like trumps like every other traveling experience that I've ever had in my
Hell
life.
yeah.
You know what I
bet.
mean? Like that knowing of like,
A
I'm
stranger's
about
kindness. you know?
Yes, yeah. But then also like I'm about to be able to like rinse this shit off of me and like get going with a new day.
Yeah.
Because otherwise our alternative was literally like, oh, we're about to post up in the fucking park right now
Yeah.
and find a bench
Yeah.
and hopefully,
Wake up surrounded by hundreds of people.
Yeah, just wake up for the summer solstice.
You're ruining
Fucking
the
Dawson
one day a
City
year.
comes alive.
the town
Yeah.
comes and purges us because they're like,
Yeah.
this is our fucking
Yeah.
night.
Yeah,
Every
what
year
have
the
you
summer
done?
solstice brings more bums, We got yeah. Yeah.
There's one phone in between all of us. I'm gonna give you a guess. 3 of us had iPhones. One of us had a Pixel. Which one do you think?
Yeah, you got that pixel, bro.
Yeah,
You
that
got that
Pixel
shit.
lasted. Yeah, that
Wow.
Pixel lasted.
Nice.
And so yeah, we were able to do like all of our like calls and stuff.
Good.
And then I'll mention this part because it does come kind of back up later on. But I'm right away like my whole thing, and obviously you guys would relate to this, but like when bad stuff happens, it makes me giggle. Like it makes me go laugh, and then like I want to make jokes about the situation and like lessen the blow of it as much as I can.
Totally.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're in this shelter. I'm making memes about it already. Like I've taken like the photo. We were doing like a movie watching. We were doing the movie Madness one, but with Morbius.
Right.
That was the next one that we were doing.
That's right.
Yeah, we
okay.
were doing with Morbius and like the Marvel movie and I was literally out there taking like the photo that I put out to let everybody know we had been in a crash was a promo for that show.
I remember
Yeah.
that.
I was like
I
right away.
I remember that.
To
yeah.
the point that a lot of people didn't even think that like we had gotten in a crash because of it. Like they
Right.
thought that we had just seen that and then I was using that as promo. But it
Yeah.
was like, no, I know, right? I was
Someone
like,
else's car accident. You're like, wait,
I don't think you know
Gotta cut a quick
my
promo.
sensibility.
Stop. They're screaming for help, but we gotta shoot this. We gotta get this real quick.
Respect the fuck out of that.
That hustle, though. That hustle.
Of course,
Promo game out of control.
I was this close to doing a video while we were there of doing it.
It's all right about there. Go on this real.
But here's the thing, I almost did it, but I thought it would be really fucked up if my friend did die, that I had this footage of me. I'd feel like so bad about doing that I was like, all right, I won't.
But you still made it though, right?
I was so good.
But it just held you.
Later on, once he was
good,
good, I was like, all right, it's all good for the promo
once you're
now.
fucking 35 grand in the hole, it's fair game.
I gotta figure out how to get some of that money back somehow.
No
you know?
shit. We need to move some
You
tickets, buddy.
gotta sell out this Morbius screening.
We didn't either. We didn't even come close. We didn't even come close. There's barely over half. It was.
Oh my god. That's fucking hilarious.
But and so we're at this shelter and we're doing all this stuff. But there's this guy there, and he's like he's this indigenous guy, old guy, and he like helps run the shelter. He's kind of like a permanent resident there, but he helps the people that organize it and everything. And but the whole time, man, as soon as we're there, he's just starting like right off the top, like we tell him the story and everything. We go up to our room. He comes up like 10 minutes later. He's like, just so you guys know, we've got a policy here. Like while you're here, you can't flip your car into any lakes. And like we're just
right away.
cracking jokes like right
Hell yeah.
away, right?
That's the
awesome.
dude.
Yeah.
It was just so nice
Yeah.
because we were all like so tense. It had just been such like a,
Yeah.
you know, like really shake. One of our buddies is still concussed as fuck, right?
Yeah.
You know, and so like it's just this. It was like really great to have that comedy like right away. You know, that was so important. But it plays into later on negative consequences because of that. But we're there for the festival.
How was the festival?
It's not even a thing. It's not even a fucking festival. Here's the thing: the whole town had been making this like.
Easy now.
Dude,
I'm on
this-
now I'm on the edge of my seat. This is what I've been waiting for the entire time. Is what does this solstice festival like? What is going on?
This part of the whole thing is kind of annoying with the town. Like beautiful town. Again, like the part that's really cool with the architecture too is that they've repainted over everything. So all of the buildings are like really, really colorful and vibrant.
Yeah, I've seen photos for sure. Yeah,
exactly, right?
yeah.
And the reason why they do that is because they don't get sunlight for most of the year. So the buildings, when they have the street lights on during like regular days, the buildings actually then glow on the snow and then create this like colorful effect. So the whole town has like a bit of color throughout the year.
That's
Even
why summer solstice is such a big thing.
It is a really big deal for them.
They're really
right?
looking forward to
But
this.
but they've been hyping this up though. Like even my fucking one of my grandparents, like he the same one
You're
that I
there
was
for
talking about
summer
later.
Like, your father's father warned you about this?
He used to go to this thing all the time and would like talk it up to us.
Grandpa, I've
like,
been in a
all
car
the time.
accident. Where? There's
Yeah,
a-
right. Yeah.
Have you ever
Are you
seen
gonna
it in
go-
summer? Like this
Yeah,
feels
right?
like that kind
This
of
is
vibe.
what we
you
were
know
kind
what
of
I mean?
thinking.
Yeah,
Everybody's
yeah.
talking about this, like this big festival. Like we're looking forward to it. We're like, okay, at least this is like one cool thing is we're gonna be able to like check
Yeah,
out
this is the
this
fucking
festival.
Catalina wine mixer.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking Catalina one.
So we're walking around. It's the summer solstice day, and we're walking around everywhere throughout the town. And like nothing is going on. Huh?
This
What?
is very festive, right?
What?
There's
not
no
a
people. There's nobody
festival.
selling
There's-
food. There's no.
Yeah,
There's no beaver tails.
There's no
food trucks.
none of that. There's no
I'm thinking carnival food.
performances. There's no parade. There's no
Oh,
booths.
man.
There's no nothing. And
There's
we're
no-
like, what is this? And we start to ask the locals, and like, oh no, the summer solstice is a big party at the end of the night up on the. They have this big mountaintop,
Okay.
like kind of like
Okay.
hillside
And it's so
thing, and so it's
long.
this big thing where
So
everybody
everybody's
comes
just
up.
sleeping because they're getting ready to
They're
really
getting
turn it
ready
up.
to go up there,
Okay,
and they're gonna
okay.
go party and everything.
Hell
And
yeah.
So we're like, okay. So we go and do our day. There's this thing out in Dawson City. It's this bar that has it has a toe.
Yeah.
It's
For
got
frostbite.
a severed toe
I've heard of this.
that's
I've
been
heard
fermented
of
in
this.
liquor.
I've
That's
heard
right.
of this.
Yeah. So they've got this toe, and you do a shot with the
Right.
toe where they put it in a shot glass, fill it up, and then you take a shot with the toe in your mouth.
You feel it on your lips?
You feel it on your lips. That's
Oh.
essential to it. Is that you
Yeah.
have to let it touch the tip of your lips. So yeah, and mind
Gay.
you, mind you,
Agnew.
mind you, you are talking.
Oh,
this
I'm
is-
shooting that shot all
There's
day.
there's not a movie theater in this town. There's not a
Johnny's like,
bowling ring.
"Was it free?"
You know, there is no entertainment. So the
Just a toe.
lineup to kiss this toe is out the block and down the fucking
Get the
down
fuck
the
outta
whole
here. Oh,
road.
yeah.
You were waiting. We waited like 2 hours to go and do this, but it's like the thing that you do in
Sure.
the town. And
Sure.
it was, it's the legend of it. This isn't the first toe they've had.
I
Somebody
was gonna
came
say,
in.
whose fucking toe
I know
is
a
this?
biker came in at one point and like
Stole
and-
the toe.
No.
Okay,
He ate the toe.
Yes, yes,
He
yes.
ate the toe
Oh,
so that he could get the name. Like his name was like Mike, then the Cannibal Jones or whatever. He got the Cannibal as his like biker name because he ate the fucking toe.
That would be funny if they called him like Mike Pinky Toe or something like that.
Yeah, that would be
just
Right,
Mike the
right,
Toe.
right, Mike the Toe.
Mike the Toe is
pretty
so
good.
But in
good.
his
Toe.
in
Who's
his-
that?
in
That's
his
Mike the
vi-
Toe.
Yeah, right.
And like the toe.
In his will, when he dies, his toe is going to be donated to them, and like they won't tell you how they got the other toe that they've got rocking in there now. But I would assume it probably also have something to do with the bikers.
Yeah.
And
I would imagine that
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
cannibal was like, oh shit,
You
I'll
need a,
get
you
you
need a toe,
Yeah.
but they've got it. They've got like
a Walter
$1,000
situation
fine
from
if you
the-
if
Yeah.
you if you eat the
The
toe.
toe.
Yeah,
Oh,
then you have to pay them $1,000
and
or
you have
whatever.
to donate your toe.
I don't know if that part's quite mandatory, but you do have to pay the $1,000 if you
Wow.
eat the toe. Yeah. So we do the toe, and
Apparently, that's what the going rate for a toe is. $1,000. We all know
And
what a
they're
toe
fleecing
costs.
you guys up there.
if you
$1,000
get-
toe,
you just need to
$35,000
sell
plane.
35 of those toes.
you can't sell one toe to make rent in Vancouver. You have to sell 2 toes
We need
to
a
make
toe
your rent.
3/5.
I mean, after $35,000 for a plane ride, I'm surprised you have any toes left.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
Fuck.
between 4 of you,
Yeah.
fuck, you're
I
making
mean-
a
Just
profit.
cleave them off all in one big
Yeah.
swoop.
Yeah.
So like the whole time that we'd been going through, like everybody in this town, it's just like it's beautiful vibes. Like it's the opposite of Vancouver. It really is like it's like when we're walking around, even on our way to that men's shelter, like it's 9:00. There's only a couple people out and about.
How
but
much
everybody,
of a bummer would it have been if it was a women's shelter?
Oh,
You walk
fuck.
up, you're like, these bitches.
ladies.
Identity is fluid. We could just
That's
fucking,
true,
We need
that's
a bed
true.
tonight.
yeah, yeah.
I identify as
I'll be
tired.
anyone
as fuck.
tonight. Yeah.
You can't open with that though at the front desk. Like, I need a bed tonight.
We
Call
can
me
do
Irene.
yours, or you
Yeah.
can give me my own.
Look, my name is Austin. This is my friend Mike the Toe. We're gonna need a couple beds.
So funny. Yeah. So we're and we end up going to like the hill kind of part where like it's a big, because we'd already been through Dawson City on our way up to the Arctic. It's kind of like you have to go through there to be able to get onto the highway that takes you up to the Arctic. So we'd already been through there, and we'd camped already up at that kind of top part where like the festival is. So we know that like the walk going up there is not like a chill walk. It's a
No,
hike. It's
yeah.
a real
Yeah.
big. It's a real big hike. So we're like waiting there. We're gonna hitchhike. We're like thinking, oh, this will be fun. This town's like been so kind. Like everybody that we meet is just it's like it's like, are you okay? Like right when we're
Yeah.
even walking to the shelter,
Yeah.
it's like, are you good? Are you guys good? Because they can see we look fucked up. They're like,
Totally.
everybody's checking in on us just to make sure we're good. And we're waiting there, and a car is coming down the hill, and it's one of the nurses that had like taken care of us like the
Yeah,
day
yeah.
before, and she's checking in. She's like, hey, how's your buddy? Is he all right? And oh yeah, key thing on that too. When Buddy got to Whitehorse, they did an X-ray on him. He'd fractured his spine in 3 places. So yeah,
God
it was a really
damn.
good thing.
$35,000
Oh
well
my
spent.
God,
man.
yeah,
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
$35,000
How's he doing
well
now?
spent. Oh, he's
Fuck.
good. He's like
Yeah.
he was out of the. I mean, they got him out of the hospital like 2 or 3 days after. He was already up
Wow.
and walking stuff.
Jesus, wow.
Fractures
Yeah.
like obviously a lot better than like a broken
Yeah.
kind of situation,
Yeah.
especially for the spine. Because
Anytime you got one of something though, it's always terrifying. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like that's just it. Like there's
Yeah.
not like, oh well, you'll be fine. You get another one. Like there's
Definitely,
a
yeah.
spine.
Is he the
Like,
one that got
Spine,
tossed from the
yes.
car?
Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah. He
Put
was
your
the only
fucking
one.
seatbelt
Yeah,
Not wearing a
wasn't
seatbelt.
I
Yeah,
mean, but the
fucking
thing was,
wear a
is like,
seatbelt.
he this has been like a weird like consistency throughout my time like traveling. I've had like every big major trip that I've done that's taken like, you know, a good chunk of time has had kind of like one kind of nasty thing that's gone on throughout it.
Yeah.
And they've all happened within 24 hours of somebody in our party, or whether it's me or somebody else in the party going, wow, nothing bad has happened on this trip.
Jinx it.
Oh,
No, the
No
jinx
shit,
though, like I'm like, you know, I'm like a diehard, you know, been rocking with like atheism and all that for like since I was a little kid, like, but like the jinxing has happened so many times in my
Totally,
life at this
yeah.
point where it's like hard to deny, like,
Yeah.
oh, like we're talking on the same drive, Will going, you know, it's weird, like nothing bad has happened on this trip. It's our first day going south. The whole mythos of the trip was like, people would ask us, where are you going? We just say north. And we literally didn't know where we were going north. We just knew that we were just going to try to get as far this north as we could. And yeah, first day south, he says, nothing bad's going to happen. And then, yeah, that happens literally right then.
Oh
we had
my
also
God.
being wearing our seatbelts for like that whole trip too.
Yeah.
We had taken a piss break probably about an hour beforehand, and then just so happened that he hadn't put the seatbelt back on for that little bit of the time, and then was falling out the window like that.
Do you notice that with with atheism kind of comes these like roots of like or like a school of thought basically that almost what you've been taught is kind of like a lie and stuff, so you're kind of like you're like heavy in your beliefs because you feel like they're your own or whatever, like you kind of come to terms with them on yourself.
Yeah.
But so then when I like to still like keep my mind open to like the possibility of you know, maybe like the supernatural or something, you know, just for fun, right? Because I think that it's fucking rad. It would be way cooler if ghosts exist or whatever, right? But then when it comes like do you have to like give yourself permission to let your mind go to that place and almost like feel a sense of guilt? Because that's what, it's weird. It's a really weird thought process when you're like, you know, just trying to have some fun.
When I like the more I've aged, the more I've kind of fallen by this little phrase, but like Christopher Hitchens never did mushrooms. You know what I mean?
That's just a fucking rad. That's a rad title.
You know what
I'm a sucker for a good long title.
You know what I mean though? Like for real though, like you know, you can talk about it as like as much as you want, and then when you're put in the situations where maybe you are like in a spot where you're like, I am gonna die right now, and like you kind of know like, okay, it could just be that, or also like maybe the continuous like asking for help in those kind of moments and stuff, and then actually getting it, and the fact that you're still around maybe is
for sure.
But then also you'll see like religious zealots, and then they'll get the worst kind of treatment that'll happen in their life. Oh, maybe I'm just lucky, and maybe, but then also maybe like probability. That's one idea that I've had where it's like, well, now we're getting into God. Probability is like a weird thing, and like being a favorably lucky person, where like luck is more in your favor. It doesn't mean that there's like necessarily the very fact that the probability of things that are going on that are good in your life is happening is almost as supernatural as like any other thing. Like there's really no distinction, because even if like the entity of like God or whatever exists, there's absolutely no way on like an individual level they would be meddling in people's lives. So if it's like, I would imagine it would serve as some kind of like algorithm, like AI kind of situation where it's like based on whatever kind of, you know, luck or whatever, you did this at one point and now this is rippling out into that or whatever, right? Like I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
But that is the thing though. You do drugs and you realize like, okay,
there's
like,
definitely more going on.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I know it's not like nothing. You
I
know?
think that's like the freedom of not being religious, though, is that you can open your mind up to different ideas and be okay with the fact that you don't know, but still like knowing that there's, or feeling that there's something more, but not feeling the need to like, put a name to it.
I think because like when I was younger too, I did like I was hard. Like it's like punk rock, atheism. Like, fuck it.
Yeah.
But as I've gotten older, it's like one. I always kind of felt something through music. I'm just like, oh, there is something that's just like this feels different than anything else. And but as I've gotten older, like, definitely to be like, oh yeah, I can't explain it. I don't know what the fuck it is. I don't. But like, there's definitely shit that is better than me. And like just
loser.
But I am a good. But you know what I mean, as far as or where we are as human, like there's just shit on different levels. Like that's confirmed for me. I just I can't possibly put into words or anything. It's just like
I definitely think when you talk about that the music thing as well, that's like if you can look at things and find commonalities between cultures, like on a consistent basis throughout cultures that would have never ever had interactions with one another. And if you can find those like baselines throughout, there's probably some kind of ounce of truth to them. The perfect example is like the mythos, the archetype of like Christ. Like that archetype is throughout almost every religion. Like the idea of the
there's just different sales reps for one guy.
Exactly. But what is that story then like representing? And then if this is like this isn't even my idea. This was like the original like eye opener for me as a kid. I'm literally talking like 9 years old or something, but Zeitgeist.
I was gonna say you're just about to explain the beginning of the movie Zeitgeist.
That was a fucking mind blower when you were a kid.
That one when you're a kid is like, and the fact that YouTube
the George Carlin bit right at the beginning too.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean, right?
And then
so
it
you see how
fucked
fucked up the world is.
I was hooked off the top. Like, oh, it's got Carlin.
Oh my god, thinking about that and how influential the rest of that movie was, but then also now that you even mention that fact of the starting out with the George Carlin bit and what that kind of represents to a young mind of like comedy being truth and like and what that like right away you realize like, oh, okay, it's not dick jokes. Like that was almost even before anything else in comedy that was like would have been one of the first introductions I would have had to.
Oh, totally.
To
Well, I've said it like all the time. Like I rip farts all the time, right? And I
Right.
Bubble Boy.
Bubble Boy. They call
Bubble
me Bubble Boy. And the
Bubble
reason
Boy.
that you know what I mean. The reason that I love them is because I love my body, and I think it's about self love, and you want to share that with the world.
Okay.
But there's a lot of situations where like
not
there's a
buying
lot of
that.
situations as a comedian where you kind of worry that where like the best joke I've ever written might not be as funny as a fart.
Right.
So I think that like you could see comedy from like all different levels or whatever, because the silliest thing, you know what I mean, that'll still make you laugh or whatever, but then it's like heavily rooted. Because I remember, you know what I mean, kind of like your parents being like, you know, censoring what you were watching as a young kid or whatever. Chris Rock was Bigger and Blacker was like one of the biggest things that's coming out and all this stuff. And then you're kind of turning like a magnifying glass with George Carlin onto the Catholic upbringing that I had. And you know what I mean? Shit like that, right? So there's a lot of people kind of like putting the blinders up. And when you're a young kid, it's so powerful for you to be like, wait a minute, they're trying to tell me the truth over there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
or, you know what I
Wait,
mean?
you
As I
had a
see it.
Catholic upbringing?
Yeah. My parents split up when I was about 2 years old. So my brother got baptized and I never did. My mom was kind of like, well, let's hold off on this. So as I grew up, I had like, you know, many a church going, and we would do like New Year's dinner
Nice
where my
church, like a
like
beautiful
in
church?
Roman Catholic Church, St. Mary's is in Trail, BC. Shout out to that place. But we would go. There's a few places in my hometown that are big enough to house my family for like get-togethers and stuff. Bigger than like the homes that we had, so we would rent out like a Knights of Columbus hall or like the. We did like St. Michael's elementary school or whatever, so we'd just be in the gym and shit. That one was dope. But a lot of times what we would do is rent out the church, so we would just be like chilling with a fucking priest to add.
That's fun.
Yeah, so like it's always there, like a part of my family. But at the same
You
time,
chill with the priest later on as
he didn't blow my spot up, man. Because
Hopefully
one time
not by yourself.
one time I got caught getting a blowjob behind the church by the priest, and I was like, we got away. Like he didn't, you know.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Bye.
Got caught by the priest, or
Yeah, the priest opened the door. He wasn't blowing.
was
me.
this like a role play thing where you were bringing in a third into your guys'?
When he opened the door, I was kind of like, balls in your court, buddy. You know what I mean?
Or in your mouth.
Yeah,
We gotta admit though, like
but he didn't blow my spot up in his to his credit, which was good.
like as
But I
Oh
was pretty
wow,
scared. I
he
was
kept
pretty-
it under wraps.
Yeah, but he gave me that look, like, you know what I mean. It'd be nice to see you inside the church rather than outside, because we smoke
Really?
weed behind the place and shit
I mean,
like that.
you can't say that to him. You start offering me this. He goes,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if there were blowjobs inside the church, I'd be inside the
And he was
Yeah.
like, clearly you have never been to church. He goes,
Yeah.
Lots of
Telling
blowjobs
you.
in
No,
there.
only
Come
for dinner.
inside.
Come here for food.
Catholicism is the best religion because it's the gayest one.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. Right? And there's a lot of
That's so-
repression, and there's a lot of guilt that's involved with
But
it, too.
it's kind of
Absolutely.
that's kind of sexy though.
Oh, it's
like
great.
the
It's
repression
great,
and
yeah.
like all of that.
Because you want to feel
the
bad after
sexual
you come,
tension
right?
that's
When you
in
come
there.
back to your
Oh,
senses
for
and stuff,
sure.
then you're like, oh my god, then you need to repent, right?
Yeah.
So that's the real good stuff. But it was also interesting too, because I'd be spending all this time around like, you know, devout Catholics and heavily, you know, religious people, spending, you know, fucking New Year's with the priest. But there was always this underlying thing where I'm not a Catholic. Where my grandmother would come up to me and be like, so if you want to be on the team, we'll splash a little water on your head, you know, we'll give you a couple $100. You know, and like I was getting like
They bribe you in.
yeah, they did. And my
They
buddy,
really do though.
Shout out to my buddy Dustin O'Connor, who was like when we were 12 years old, maybe 13, we started skateboarding, and he's like, so I'm getting baptized this weekend, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, dude, I'm getting hooked up, man. They fucking we went to the skate shop, and he bought a full fucking complete, couple hoodies, some shoes, and she's like, I don't care, man. Splash some water on my head, I'm good, man. Look at this fucking shit. This is dope. So he was.
What, I gotta make a pact with God to get a couple
I
bands. Not an
yeah,
issue.
dude. And I remember
Not
like,
sell my soul to the devil.
Yeah.
literally. And I
I
wasn't
need
fucking-
$35,000.
I'll get baptized.
I wasn't about, which is actually quite interesting, right? Because I kind of call myself a piece of shit a lot, and kind of get down on myself. But I feel like if you're, you know what I mean, just trying to be a good person, then I think you should be open to self-criticism. But I knew at that point that my morals would never be compromised. You know what I mean? For like, I'm not going to be bought into the fucking Lord or whatever, because I was just like kind of fucked up. And I just quit a job like last week based on ethics
That's
too.
true.
So I've been
Yeah.
I'm basically like Jesus.
Yeah.
Ethics king.
Ethics king? All right.
Ethics king.
Johnny Ethics.
Well, it worked out for him, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right?
Everything's going
I
great.
just also want to
So-
be a martyr. I feel like it just like
Yeah.
I never want them to stop saying my name.
Wait, I gotta tell you though. When we get up to the hill, though, right? This is the
right.
actual
Oh,
fucking
yeah,
festival.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
the- this-
Conclusion.
Yeah.
So the nurse,
is
though,
awesome.
on their way back down, they notice us, and then they say, "Hey, you guys want to ride up?" They were like, "We were already there, but I don't mind giving you a ride up." And this is
Hell
what
yeah.
I'm talking about. Like the people are just,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it's
That's
just
dope.
on another level of like, let us help you out, you know.
Yeah.
So we get up there. And I gotta say, like, it's like definitely not a festival. Like, that's just like not.
It's like 40 people just hanging out.
Yeah.
Do you just bring a bottle and chill?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just a fucking
It's nice.
it's a
It's
Days
a
of
bush
Confused
party.
scene.
Don't get
Yeah,
me
it's
wrong.
awesome.
It's like a block party kind of thing.
Nice.
Like
Oh,
everybody
nice.
from the town is up there, and like, you know, right in the center, or like I guess it's kind of like a biker town. I don't really know, but there's like a big group of fucking bikers, and they look mean as fuck, and it's just like
They're all
everybody-
missing a toe.
But it's like
They're all limping around the campfire.
Just these little toes on marshmallows.
so funny. But fuck, this view is something else. Like, and
Yeah.
then when it's in the sunset, and it's like the first time, because all up until this point in the summer, there's no sunset. It's 24 hours. They get fucked as like a people. They got no. It's either all daylight or all nighttime. There's no in the middle. So they
Right.
just. So it's the first time, and it's one of the only days throughout the year that they actually get a proper like sunset, where then it starts to. It doesn't ever get. It still is quite bright. Even that night, but it does kind of get dark for a second, and then it comes back up pretty
No
much.
shit.
So yeah,
Cool.
but
I'm
yeah,
really glad that you explained what the solstice was like organically, because I've been sitting here this whole time
It's
like,
like fucking.
is it like it's like our flowers gonna bloom and shit? Like I was like, what is it?
Just relating it all to like the Dennis the Menace movie. Like, so Mr. Wilson's flowers gonna bloom.
Did we put that together?
I
in my
did.
head?
I did. I let you just sit in it.
so
For 58 minutes, I've been wondering.
we're up there and we're just talking around, we're mingling and stuff, and we're talking to this guy, and people throughout the town already all know us and the situation because word travels that quickly. Like we're talking to somebody, and they'll be like, "Are you the guys that flipped their fucking truck in the lake?" And we're like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Two Moose Lake, that's so funny, you fucks." I'm like,
Yeah.
"All right, I guess, yeah."
Yeah,
and then-
hilarious.
Yeah, hilarious. Yeah, it was awesome.
$35,000 in debt.
Well, here's the kicker with that, right?
Yeah.
So we're
Well,
talking to a guy.
because that money's spent and the homie's gone, right? So you're just like 35,000. Like, how's Will feeling? Because he's 35,000 in the hole right now.
But here's the thing,
and
though.
just hanging out.
Okay, but we haven't like there at no point have we had to at this point have we had to give any information.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
So we're talking to a guy, and he's like, "Oh, you guys are the guys I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to find you." I'm like, "Oh, what's up?" And he's like, "Okay, I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but I am a disgraced nurse." Yes.
Someone came on his face.
He uses
The phantom of the operating room. Like, what are you?
What's a disgrace?
Great opener.
right? But he says that's how he introduced. He doesn't say my name. He doesn't say his
I'm a
name.
disgraced
He says
nurse.
I'm a disgraced nurse. And we go, and I comment on that. I'm like, okay, I think you could have just said I'm a former nurse, but all right, you know?
Yeah, dude.
You need to let us know.
No,
that. But
trust
he's
me,
like,
I'm
A lot
a
of malpractice.
Yeah.
Clearly.
I'm a
I
fucking
killed like
disgrace.
30 people. It's crazy.
I'm a fucking disgrace.
I'm a fucking disgrace. My dad won't even look at me.
But the guy, when he goes up, he doesn't even tell us why or anything. Where he just gets right into it. And he's like, I heard about your situation, your buddy flying. I just want to let you know that you guys, because you guys don't live in the province, the company that does it is not the government. It's not a government flight. It's a private company. And the private company is located in the Yukon.
Right.
But the private company won't, it doesn't have like the resources to go and like find you in BC. So if you don't give up that information willingly to them, they're not going to hunt you down for it. And they're not going to like, they like, he's like, I know this because like we would have to send, if you got a fucking paper cut, they'll send you on this thing. That's like what
Right.
like, because like anything, they're basically what their hospital is for there is like, if you get fucked up and you need some like life-saving stuff, we know the basics to be able to make sure until we send you over there. So for everybody that's in town, because they're from the Yukon and they have that insurance and everything, it's not a big deal for them to have to get flown to there. Right. So, but what their whole like business model is like,
fuck any out of towner they can.
No. The almost the opposite of it. Like the company, they'll go and try to find anybody that's in the Yukon. Like let's say you live in Dawson City and you didn't have that coverage. Well, then they'll get their 35 grand from that guy because it's still in town, right?
Sure.
And go on, knock on their door, you know, hey, we want our money, whatever. Yeah. But for out of towners, they'll just file a complaint with the province, and the province, because we still do live in Canada for the most part, will just be like, oh fuck it, whatever, and then they'll send them the money. So so far, we never gave any information to these guys. They haven't contacted Will. We haven't gotten any emails. There's no real way they could find us. No address, no nothing. So we kind of got out of it. And then 3 days later, he was discharged.
Did you know that we have a very big following in Dawson City, actually?
A lot
of flashers in Dawson City. Oh, you guys might have blew your spot up.
Cut it.
Yeah, we'll give you one of those like distorted voices, like the really low voice the whole time.
I went to the mountain and met Mike Toe.
So good. So here's the ending of the story. So I end up getting back a couple days later. It takes us a while, whatever. I end up getting back. All my shit's fucked up. My iPad, my phone. I have to. I end up while I'm there throwing out half my clothes. I'm just trying to pack as essential light as I can. One bag, none of my other shit, all my camping gear, whatever. I'm like, fuck it, it's thrown out. It's all wet anyway. You're gonna get a moldy tent and shit like that. Totally. So I get back. It's like the day after I get back, I get a FaceTime from my girlfriend at the time. She's out in Europe, and it's like probably like 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's a breakup FaceTime.
Oh,
yeah. Like a day, nice.
Like a day, I heard that you just went through some shit.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Do you got a minute to talk?
Like a day after.
Oh my god.
Scandalous.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like a day after, and we're all good now, and it's fine, whatever. But this is the story. I don't mind telling it how it is. It's day after, and it's like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just like, the whole time in it, I'm like, I'm not fighting anything that's going on. I'm just like, okay. I just, like, the thing I keep saying, I'm just like, this is just terrible timing, and I just keep saying that it's terrible timing. And what I later figured out like, because in my mind I'm like, rationale, like I would not think to do that if somebody just went through that. In my mind I'd be like, oh, that's really fucked up. But I didn't realize that like the only communication that we really had during that time, because we only had the one phone between the three of us, was like a couple of messages, the phone call when we were at the room where I'm giggling my tits off because of the guy who's coming in and making jokes every 5 minutes. And then the Morbius memes that have just been flooding my story feed. So she's thinking this is like a fun, not a big deal kind of moment because online. And then it's like an interesting kind of thing to know about how you're presenting shit.
Totally.
Because that's like going to be a big way of about how people perceive it.
Yeah.
So then like,
no one's going to come up and pat you on the back and say, hey, how you doing, buddy, when all they've seen is jokes and shit.
So then, like, when, like, and we don't have to get into that now or whatever, but when, like, the fire ends up happening.
Oh, yeah, we'll do this on the next episode. Dude, you're coming back. Yeah, definitely.
But like, the first thing that I did, like, right when I got there, my dad came out, and he brought my little brothers. My one little brother, he's, like, 8 years old, and I got him right in front of the doors, and I put the camera on him, and I said, tell them to come to Morbius July 20th.
That's hilarious.
Promo again.
That's
God.
so.
But I didn't put it on my main. I put that one on the close friends this time.
Yeah,
There
of
you go.
course.
Yeah.
They doubled it.
good.
My
That one
favorite
was-
part about all
wow.
this, dude, because like that story is fucking amazing.
Yeah,
like it's
that's
wild.
awesome.
There's
That's a
like
great
it's
story.
straight up like heroic. It's crazy that you have this kind of attitude about it, and it's for real. Like and like a fucking. You're still at a pretty impressionable age for something like that to fucking happen to you. So that is
I mean, oh my
fucking
God,
insane, man. It's
yeah.
so great. But my favorite part about it is like Jonny asked you at the beginning. He's like, "Have you ever eaten shit?" And then you say this, and then Johnny's like, "Oh yeah, well, like I tweaked my ankle doing a pop shove the other day." It's kind of the same, but
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
no, are you kidding me, dude? That was amazing.
that was great,
honestly,
dude.
yeah.
No, no,
I haven't
no,
really
that was
had,
great.
like,
That was
you know,
great.
I think when the first time that I talked about it on a podcast, it was like the same week that it all
Oh,
happened.
yeah,
It was
no,
just, you know. it was
No, man, it's
quiet.
very evident. You've had time to like process
Yeah,
this
a little bit better,
which is
and,
awesome.
and
Yeah.
also find why certain things had to happen for
Yeah,
why they had to
yeah.
happen, and be able to get perspective on it and go like, ultimately, because everybody was fine in the end, and yeah, I lost like a little bit of money or whatever, but ultimately what it taught me, which was I think like invaluable, was like, oh, in a real situation where your life is really on the line, this is who you are.
Oh, yeah.
This
Yeah,
is how
yeah.
you
Yeah.
react. And
Yeah.
knowing like that for sure, because I'd been in situations before where, yeah, I was kind of in precarious situations, being followed, you know, things like that, or like when I'd be traveling, you know, you're out on like
But not
weird.
certain death.
Yeah,
exactly.
where there's,
like
like-
if you don't act, then you're fucked.
Yes, yeah. And there's
yeah.
been there's
Yeah.
been those, but never one where it's like
Yeah.
you have an active
Yeah.
like an active fighter against you. Like we're
Yeah.
basically the same equivalent of like somebody trying to come and stab me.
Yeah.
Is like what this water is doing. It's like if I
Yeah.
don't move right now, I am going to
This
die.
is up to you.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's
It's
exactly.
literally
Yeah.
up to you. Whereas
Yeah.
like it's a little bit different when you're like, you know, going over like a quarry, like over like a slippery log or something. And you're
Yeah.
like, okay, I survived that, and I could have fucked myself up.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit
There's
different.
difference
because-
in like conquering something
Yeah.
dangerous that you maybe shouldn't have done, rather than like, you know, in the moment.
Yeah.
You know, that you're in a
Something
fucking
is
an
your
emergency.
opposition.
Yeah,
Was
Yeah.
it volunteer?
prolonged
You didn't be like, I'm not
emergency,
like, you were like, oh, I'm gonna get in a car accident today and
Yes,
see if I
yeah.
can get it. It's like, oh, I need to like, I want to cross this bridge.
Yeah.
and
Totally.
cause a
Yes.
slippery
Yeah,
as fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
And
right. You're
nothing's
almost expecting it if it does happen when you're just riding down the fucking road and it happens
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Then
Yeah.
fucking shout out to you, and you know what I mean, your buddies, right? Because you guys
Yeah.
could have been
Yeah.
severely
Oh,
fucked up.
God.
Oh
you know?
yeah, very well
Or not
should have
even
died.
died.
Yeah.
And honestly,
Yeah.
dude, up there, fucking, you know what I mean? That's a cold way to go, in a dark place, and you know what I mean? They'd have
And
just
no
seen the
one would have
fucking-
been able to.
They
If
would have
we
just saw the ass end of the car sticking out of the water, right? And it would've been
barely
really
even
grisly,
that.
you know what I mean?
If we'd gone a little bit further into the lake,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have even been able to
You'd be
see the
with
car.
fucking mammoth
Yeah.
down at the
Yeah,
bottom
we'd
of
be
that
down
fucking-
there like
yeah.
fossilized, you
No
know,
shit.
just getting
Yeah.
frozen and then
Yeah.
unfrozen every year for fucking years and years
Yeah.
until we withered away and
Yeah,
somebody
man.
found us years later. Yeah,
Fuck
it'd
yeah.
be
Yeah.
crazy.
I'm
So
glad that didn't
Yeah,
fucking
no,
happen.
I'm
Yeah,
glad
it
that
is what it
everyone
is,
came
you
out
know?
all right, and
Totally.
you guys aren't 35 grand in the
Yeah,
hole.
that
Yeah,
part
Yeah,
was
man,
nice.
hell yeah, dude.
yeah,
That
it
part was
turned
nice.
it. Yeah,
That
yeah,
kicked so
definitely
much
the best
ass.
possible
Yeah.
ending
Fuck
there.
yeah.
But,
And I
but-
mean, yeah, to end like on a positive note too, for the listener in the Vancouver area, Austin, you run the MOTN, and
do.
after a tragic fire, you know, there's some news of a new space coming back. And
Yes,
what's
yeah,
going
we-
on
Yeah,
there?
let's get
Yeah.
some plugs. in
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
We just
Before we get
announced-
into the album,
yeah, it's a music podcast, right? My bad.
We're timed out, but this
No,
might.
no, no.
I really do want to talk about that album at some
This
point. It's
might
a good
be the-
album.
Yeah.
Oh no, we'll bring it back. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be
It'd be fun.
We loved it. Yeah.
No, we just announced today, actually, that we've broken ground on a new space. We've actually been working on it now for about half a month already,
Nice.
just kind of in secret, just getting
Yeah.
all of the stuff moved in and everything. And we're not quite ready to show everybody the interior, but at a certain point, I have to start being able to like call out for things on Instagram of like,
Right.
hey, does anybody have this and that,
Shares.
or whatever,
Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah, or whatever, right? So now like letting people know
Right.
that we're working on it and that it's coming, to start being able to build up a little bit of momentum on that. But yeah, it's a great spot. We're working with Harbor Studios, the guys that do Dino and Marito's podcast.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
do
yeah.
11.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful studio space in the back as
Nice,
well. So for
nice.
podcasting and stuff, and then a big open space for shows, and then a room in the back for tattoos. So it's gonna be like kind of even better layout
Sick,
than
dude.
the last
Nice.
spot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Yeah,
kind of
that's
being able to
awesome.
do everything that we were doing in there, but having each its own spot for it, where we were kind of like piling up a little bit too much before. So I'm really looking forward to it and getting back to doing shows, because it's been fucking light out here, kids.
It's been man. This summer, I think everybody's feeling
very
it,
rough
right?
this summer, but
a lot of people are moving away too, and that's fucked up, because I'm starting up the comedy club again. I'm like,
there'll be no shortage.
Yeah,
of
it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Honestly, fucking good riddance. Get out of here. No, like it's at the end of the day, there's I don't think there's no shortage of shows, but I think like you know what I mean, like the good ones are like
is.
I mean,
sure, maybe good ones,
yeah, exactly, right. And when it comes down to like, if you guys are like, you guys do the right thing and you're committed to doing it, so I think it'll come back, you know what I mean, the same same or bigger, right, which is kick ass, man. We're looking forward to it.
Well, yeah, it's been weird to see. It's kind of like I was thinking about this on the way, and I don't know why it feels so I don't know, some type of way about it, but it's like when Dave Chappelle was like coming back into things, and then like talking about like seeing like Key and Peele, like seeing his thing, but doing it not as good as it, and I'm like, I'm seeing all these shows around where it's like, that's I know like that's the same energy, but this is shit, like how you're doing it, like you could do it better, and here's how, like, and being able to be back in the space like that, I think is gonna be nice. Yeah.
Well, hell yeah, right. Nice, there's very few spaces that are like, you know what I mean, just kind of like dedicated to that, right? So that's gonna be the shit. We're all fucking. We're doing a show on Mondays in Burnaby, where we're competing with the last quarter of Monday Night Football when we start up, right?
Yeah,
so,
it's great.
Very fun. It is what it is, right? And I mean, that's the grind, So we're looking forward to new spaces.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah. I'm hoping. To start for November. Nice. We were looking to start this month, but I still have to build up like the stage and everything. Luckily, a lot of the equipment, like the analog shit, still works from the last spot.
Dude. It always does.
Analog's
the shit.
Yeah, the analog stuff still works, so it's all speaker wire, all that stuff is all good. There you go. Nice. So it's nice I don't have to restart like from everything. So but I'm looking to start for November. We've got. I'm going to Skankfest this year. We're going to help do some podcasting for some guys.
Oh, nice. Fun. Cool.
Yeah, that's going to be really sick. So I think I want to.
Oh, did you sign up for the Skank intern thing or whatever?
No, it's with Jordan, the other guy at the studio, because he's got the whole podcast set up and everything.
Awesome.
So,
cool.
Yeah, that's going to be really fun. So I'm waiting to do that and then start up for November.
Awesome.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be sick.
Shit, yeah. Well, we're going to put all the fucking links for the MOTN down below.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And when the next time you come back, maybe we'll talk about some tones.
Yeah.
I came so prepared for that album too. I was like, I have so much information.
It's a great album.
It's a great album, right?
Yeah.
Did we didn't even say what the album?
Well, that's
good.
that means next time.
I mean, it's going to be in the title. I have to put something in there.
And on that note, unplug.
Yeah.